Lou Robin, a concert promoter since 1952 and Johnny Cash's manager for 13 years, is the executive producer of the Survivors album. He talked about the name, The Survivors.
I think everyone that was involved with the album kind of kicked the idea back and forth. Now that Elvis, who was really the fourth member, is gone, they just felt that they were the survivors of the quartet. I think everyone has progressed through the years from the Sun days. I think you have to mature in this business, and I think you have to keep up with the changes in the general public interest in music, or you don't survive. Another reason for being the survivors is that everyone is still doing well after 25 years.
For Lou Robin, the musical reunion of the Survivors was a special night.
I think mainly because I had a hand in bringing everyone together and keep making a permanent record of the gathering, and I guess the hope in mind to perpetuate that gathering, because the music, I think, is a very important part of our musical history, and I think it's very exciting to pass it on to later generations and to keep it together.
The Survivors, a reunion from the pages of rock history. For MTV, this is Neil McCormick reporting. Besides singing with her husband, June produces the clever films featured in their show, and she can be very persuasive. While in Rotterdam, Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis came to see Johnny Cash's show.
Well, John was on the stage and they were working, and it was near the end of the show, and I thought, my goodness, this is ridiculous. How can we have Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins both here, and John on the stage, and not all of them on the stage together? And I thought, I'll get down on my hands and knees and crawl out there and ask. But then I thought, that's not going to look too ladylike.
So she asked her producer, Lou Robin, to do it.
So he did. I mean, in the middle of John singing all of his songs, he's on his hands and knees, and he crawled out. And then John turned and looked at me and said, fine, they'll come fine.
The audience loved it.
Let me tell you, praise the Lord, children, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light, no more dark.
It's like my son, who is only 11, he said, Mama, it is so wonderful that I have been able to live in the 50s. He said, I am alive in the 50s because what I see happening on this stage tonight. I couldn't get him out of the wings. He was just really rocking.
Reporting for MTV, this is Neil McCormick. The only thing Johnny Cash ever wanted to be was a singer.
And the only record company I knew about was in Memphis, Sun Records, of course. Elvis was hot as a pistol. He had his second record out. And I was just out of the Air Force and moved to Memphis and was married and had to make a living, so I got a job. And meanwhile, I started calling Sun Records, asking for an audition. I was turned down repeatedly.
Johnny Cash tried for 5 months to get Sam Phillips of Sun Records to audition him.
And one day, real early in the morning, I went there and sat on the steps with my guitar. And when he came to work, I stood up and said, I'm John Cash. I've only been calling you. I know I probably bugged you, but I'd like for you to listen to my songs, and if you listen, I think you'll be glad you did. And it's kind of a brassy thing to do, I guess, but he did listen.
Their faces gone, their eyes were blurred, their shirts all soaked with sweat.
Cash's first record for Sam Phillips was Cry, 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 but it was his second record that brought stardom.
Then he decided to release Folsom Prison Blues. And I was on my way.
I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on.
Reporting for MTV, this is Neil McCormick.
On down the San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son.
28 years ago, Carl Perkins recorded on a label called Sun Records, along with Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, and Elvis Presley.
And it was no question about it. It was the influence of the black man's rhythm, the white countryman lyrics that fused music together that came out of Sun Records, being called rockabilly music. It was influenced by the gospel, the spiritual, that give it that feeling, that feel-good feeling we used to call this music.
Carl Perkins and rockabilly music had a direct effect on songwriters of the 60s and 70s, like Paul McCartney and Elton John. But Carl Perkins isn't ready to hang up his guitar.
28 years of traveling on the road leaves you with a lot of emotional feelings. I can't picture myself doing anything else for 28 years. I feel better about my music today than I ever have. I hope there's 28 more left there.
Well, they called it rockabilly, long before they called it rock and roll.
For MTV, this is Neil McCormick reporting.
I met Jack Clement first. Sam was in Florida on vacation. Mr. Phillips. And Jack Clement said, you know, man, we don't want to hear this stuff. We've got Elvis Presley, we've got Carl Perkins, we've got this, Johnny Cash, we don't need no more, you know. I said, look, man, I'm a hit. He said, oh, they all say that. I said, yeah, but I know I am. I knew that was my last hope, you know. I said, I'm going to camp on his doorstep till he hears me. Look at a whole lot of shaking going on, crazy on, and just put it down to listen to it. It wasn't a bad record. Sam Phillips come back in, he heard me, and said, man, this guy's a hit.
Jerry Lee Lewis rocketed to international stardom with a tremendous talent and ego. But why is he called Killer?
Probably just a look in my eyes. Killer. Oh, I don't know, in high school, I believe, just cutting up. Somebody called me killer or something, I don't know. Killer? I was a killer of what? The killer of music. If I'm not killing it, I'm trying to make it.
Jerry Lee Lewis has recently recovered from a near-fatal car crash, and now he's back on tour to the delight of his fans.
I've been in the business 26 years, going on 27, professionally. And my audience will range down from anywhere from 3 years old to 100. I'm just 39 and holding. 45 and dreaming, 46 and scheming. But anyway, I got a great talent. God gave me a great talent, and thank God he let me live to use it.
Getting naked on a Saturday night.
For MTV, this is Neil McCormick with The Killer. Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and Johnny Cash all started their recording careers together in Memphis, Tennessee, on the same record label as Elvis Presley. They used to jam together and tour together. This concert was the first time in 27 years that they performed together on an American stage. Carl Perkins, the father of rockabilly music, he wrote Blue Suede Shoes. His guitar licks still have that smooth Southern rock sound.
She'll go sailing off on any old wind that blows.
Johnny Cash, tall with a weathered look, deep graveled voice, and polished country show. Jerry Lee Lewis, the killer, raw, unpredictable, contained energy ready to explode, a man who attacks a piano and makes it sing.
I love these guys. They're like brothers to me, Carl and Jerry Lee. Tonight is indeed a reunion, yeah.
And then like a blind boy that God did back his sight. Let me tell you, praise the
Elvis Presley's success drew them to Memphis, Tennessee, but it's their great individual talents that make Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, and Jerry Lee Lewis the survivors. For MTV, this is Neil McCormick.
Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
The audience for the Survivors concert was as diverse as the music itself, from pure country to punk, with a good measure of rock and roll in between.
where they call us rockabilly, long before they call us rock and roll.
We are really fans, collectors of Elvis. But Carl is our second.
I've been a fan of Johnny Cash's since 1955. I've been to about 30 of his concerts, but this was one of the best.
I thought these guys were just super to come back down and play the way they did, especially the killer. I thought Jerry Lee played super.
Jerry Lee, he's the original rock and roller, isn't he?
Johnny Cash. Johnny.
These guys are living legends. They get together once every 20 years on the same stage.
Though each member of the audience came to see one of their favorites, the three survivors performing together created their own audience. Reporting for MTV, this is Neil McCormick with The Survivors. The Survivors album captures the highlights of the musical reunion of Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash in Stuttgart, Germany last fall. Together with Elvis Presley, they were known as the Million Dollar Quartet in the mid-50s.
I certainly am proud to be a small part of this Survivors thing. And it just seems like a natural thing. There is, however, a very empty sort of feeling. There's a boy by the name of Elvis that certainly belonged in this some way or another. We'll always love Elvis because of what he did for us. He opened the door at Memphis for all of us. The first white boy to record this kind of music.
On the album, Cash dedicates this song to Elvis.
And there'll be peace in the valley for me someday.
The Survivors album, a celebration of American music. Reporting for MTV, this is Neil McCormick.